For my birthday in the summer of 2008, my mom said she would buy me any box of Yu-Gi-Oh cards, and I didn't go for a core set. I didn't go for a structure deck. I went for Gold Series. The original Gold Series released back in April 2008. My birthday was a couple months later, and while I didn't pull the main chase card from the set, which was Crush Card Virus, the very first reprint of a previously very expensive prize card, I did pull many useful cards that I hung on to even to this day. Things like Heavy Storm and Jinzo and D-Mock. These were very valuable reprints, especially for an 8th grader that didn't have access to buying singles online. The first 5 Gold Series packs ended up being huge fan favorites, and favorites of not only collectors and people looking to turn them for a profit, but also just budget players like myself back in the day. They continued the trend of reprinting prize cards, printing things like Gold Sarcophagus and the very next Gold Series after that original one, and overall, Konami just fit very valuable, good reprints into these Gold Series packs. Back in the day, there weren't nearly as many reprints as there are nowadays. I've mentioned this a lot when I've opened old tins on the channel and kind of talked about how, really back then they didn't have a lot of great ways to reprint cards. We didn't have mega tins, you just got tins and they had normal print runs of packs, so you weren't guaranteed to pull everything that you wanted out of them. And overall, the Gold Series set of packs was an excellent way for players to get the cards that they were missing for their collection or for their decks. In today's video, I want to focus a little bit on the history of the Gold Series sets because there was a pretty big change halfway through the print run of them that I'll talk about, and also I'm going to talk about what happened to them, what Konami sort of made once they stopped making Gold Series, and then lastly I'm going to open just a couple packs of Gold Series 3, which in my opinion is one of the better Gold Series out there. Between 2008 and 2012, we received 5 different Gold Series that all basically followed the same formula. You got these thick 25 card packs that had 22 commons and 3 gold rares. Now, at the very end there, they did Haunted Mine, and that sort of changed the formula a little bit because they introduced gold ghost rares, which were kind of crazy. Now, one of the things that made these packs so interesting and in some people's minds so wasteful was that they cost about $15 to $20 for one pack of Gold Series. Now, to be fair, you're getting a lot of cards out of that one pack. You're getting 25 cards and you're guaranteed 3 holos, where back in the day you weren't guaranteed to pull anything above a rare. So I guess to some people that was not really that bad of price, but to many budget players it was actually pretty tough. When you're buying Gold Series packs, you definitely were investing a lot more money into less cards than you would if you just bought a normal box or normal packs of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. After those original 5, there was a 2-year break before we got any more Gold Series, but back in 2014, Konami started to release one more Gold Series every single year for the next 3 years, and that was the Premium Gold Series. And the Premium Gold Series, it changed a lot, and I really mean that. So first off, there's no more commons, but also they started introducing some weird rarities. It wasn't Gold Ghost Rare, but they had these Premium Gold cards, these Premium Gold Secret Rare cards, and they were really, I mean, for lack of a better term, they were just gaudy. A lot of people don't like how these premium gold cards look. Now, I know that some people enjoy how they look, and actually, surprisingly for people nowadays to sort of hear this, back when Premium Gold, the very first one, came out in 2014, actually a lot of people were really excited with how the cards looked. You had people swapping out their non-premium gold versions of cards for the premium gold versions just because it was something that we hadn't really seen before, and it's something that even to this day Konami hasn't really dabbled in. I mean, we kind of saw these cards with like the Noble Knight sort of box special that I reviewed a couple months ago. We saw it with like the World's Prize cards, and we saw it with a couple Megatin promos, but outside of Premium Gold and the several Premium Gold sets that they release, we don't really see a lot of these gold secret rares anymore. It's just not something that was very popular, and I think when we look back on it, yeah, we can say these cards don't really look that good. They don't really look that special, and oftentimes it can be a little bit much of an eyesore just because of how much is going on the card's artwork. And I'm sure someone will rightfully point out that the gold rarity and gold secret rarity actually has made a recent appearance in the movie pack reprints, but I don't actually think that that counts as a gold series. It's something that's completely different. Another thing that was different about the premium gold series versus the original gold series sets is that there weren't any common cards. You only had gold rares and gold secret rares, and to some people that's a good thing, but the problem was is that now you're were paying about $10 to $20 for a pack that only had a couple cards in it. And yeah, they were all gold rares or gold secret rares, so they're all holos, and that's pretty exciting. But overall, I think the issue with the premium gold set is that it just wasn't really that good to look at. And I think one of the biggest issues is that many cards that people were asking Konami to reprint in holographic forms that we usually see in like OTS packs or Astro packs back then, this is where Konami decided to put them. And this couldn't be more true for things like Burning Abyss and Cosmos. A bunch of cards from both of those archetypes were printed in common or rare, and a lot of people wanted rarity upgrades, so Konami just put them in premium gold, infinite gold, and people were pissed. Even to this day, we don't have any non-gold rare holographic prints for any of the Burning Abyss main deck monsters except for Seer, Graph, and Rubik, which originally was printed in ultra rare. So this sort of leaves people in a weird spot because they don't want to play the rares because then their deck isn't max rarity, but then they don't want to play the gold rares because they don't look really good. So it just creates this very interesting situation where people don't want to play the gold rare version of cards, but some people are forced to because that's the cheapest alternative to picking them up for their decks. In other words, what I'm trying to say here is that the look, the style, and the philosophy behind the gold series sets changed somewhere along the way when they switched from the normal 4 gold series packs that we saw up into the premium gold series, which had 3 sets. People were pissed. I mean, there was a lot of public outcry. People did not like the way that gold secret rares looked, especially in premium gold, infinite gold, and people weren't very happy with that the only way to get the holographic versions of cards like Burning Abyss monsters was to have them in this sort of ugly brown gold rare. And what's really interesting is that when you look at the newer gold rares, not the gold secret rares so much, but when you look at those Burning Abyss monsters, they don't look gold, they just look sort of this muddy color that a lot of people don't like on cards. This wasn't the case with those older gold rares where they actually look gold, and it just makes them look really, really bad in comparison to the old ones. And then people started saying, well, I'm kind of nostalgic for these old gold rares and they really make these new ones look very bad by comparison. So then Konami pulled them and they didn't make any more gold series, at least in the TCG, for at least up until now. And I say up until now because it is technically possible for Konami to bring the gold series back, but I don't think it's going to happen because it's been replaced with something that people love, and I really mean love. The gold series, for all intents and purposes, has been replaced with the Battles of Legend series. You can draw so many different comparisons. It's a 5-card set, just like the premium gold packs. You get multiple ultra rares, then you get a secret rare instead of getting gold rares and a gold secret rare, and overall it does the same sort of thing that we saw with the premium gold set. You have OCG imports that we haven't gotten yet, and you also have TCG reprints that hopefully are good. I mean, a lot of people want there to be good reprints in these sort of Battles of Legends packs, and for the most part the reprints are in fact very, very strong, and I think people really responded well to that. There's been so much support for the Battles of Legends sets. People like myself think that they're some of the best reprint sets that Konami has ever created in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh yeah, and you don't have to play them with these crappy gold rare foiling, you get to play them with actual ultra and secret rare foiling. It turns out that people really respond nicely just by changing the rarity from something that people didn't like to something that people do like. With that said, that finally brings us just to opening 2 packs of Gold Series 3 released back in 2010, and there are a ton of fantastic reprints that give us insight into what the metagame and what reprints people were asking for back 9 years ago. Now it's crazy to think that this was 9 years ago, but that's kind of how it goes. It says on the bottom here, upgrade your deck with gold foil cards, 3 gold foils in every box. And you can kind of see here what I was talking about with the actual physical cardboard being wasteful, not necessarily just the price, but this entire box only holds 1 pack, and it is kind of questionable packaging. I think it's basically to sort of justify to people that don't know as much about Yu-Gi-Oh! Like parents I'm mostly focusing on here, sort of buying this box for like 15-20 bucks is because you're getting all these cards and not just 1 pack. I mean, you are getting 1 pack, but it's like, I think people that don't play Yu-Gi-Oh! Would say, well, you can just buy this other pack for like $4. Why is this pack so expensive? So by putting it in a larger box, you actually get an idea like, okay, maybe this is a little bit more valuable. I mean, I don't know if you've tried explaining to your parents that don't play the game, like, oh yeah, like these have holographic cards in them, so they're a little bit more valuable than the non-shiny ones. That can be kind of confusing for people. And you can kind of see here, there's going to be a lot of archetype reprints in here. I believe this one has Black Wings, and we got some zombie cards and Infernity cards. Just overall, lots of good staple cards and archetype cards, which many of the original 5 Gold Series packs actually sort of accomplish. I don't believe there's a prize card in this one. So then you open it, and yeah, just kind of like a premium experience as far as pack opening goes. You open this entire box, you open this flap, and it's like it's so crazy. It's so over the top. We don't really see stuff like this anymore. I mean, most recently we had that Noble Knight box, but even that is like not anywhere near this level. I mean, look at how like crazy it is just to get like this one pack, and like, man, that is a thick pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Gold Series 3, pretty nutty stuff here. It's just you just don't get stuff like this anymore. I don't even know if Konami would like really be on board with printing something that's like so wasteful for cardboard. I mean, I guess like structure decks are kind of wasteful too, but anyway, let's get an idea here. Okay, luckily, we'll have to do it backwards because I now see that the gold rares are in the front. So we have Exploder Dragon there, but we'll put those in the back. I believe there's 3 gold rares. So let's take a look at some of the things that are printed here. And I actually own a lot of Gold Series 1 through 3 cards, commons and gold rares alike. So I probably have a lot of these cards already, but it's kind of cool to look at. So we have Amazoness Paladin, Mist Condor, what a random card, Blackwing Blizzard the Far North. Man, Blackwings, like back in the day, they were one of the top decks for a very, very long time. It just kept getting good support. If you wondered why like so many Blackwing cards, like Gale, Kalut, and Black Whirlwind were all on the ban list at the same time for years, it's because the deck was so strong. But anyway, it kept getting reprinted. Blackwings are always a good entry point for newer players. We have Amazoness Swordswoman. I think I was using this version, a Gold Series 3 version, in my deck profiles for Amazoness until I recently picked up an Ultra Rare. That's kind of cool. Magical Arm Shield. Not really ever a competitive card, but I guess so. Amazoness Fighter. I can't remember what was coming out at this time. 2010, I think, actually would have been the first. Maybe it was 2011. I don't know. I'm pretty sure 2010 was the first year that Amazoness Village was released, so this probably was support for that. It's crazy to think about the Amazoness Village is that old. We have Blackwing Sirocco the Dawn, sort of like a Cyber Dragon, but it's your normal summon. Very good card back in the day. Dramatic Rescue. Mist Valley Windmaster. This card was actually like super hyped for a while, which is funny to think about. Once per turn, if both players have 5 or more cards in their hand, you can activate this effect to make both players send cards from their hand to the graveyard until they have 4 cards. It was sort of hyped just for a little bit, but obviously not that strong. Amazoness Archers, funny card. Amazoness Tiger. And Worm Falco. What a great card. Amazoness Blowpiper. These cards feel like a little bit different. I guess a lot of old cards feel like that. Maybe that's not necessarily a Gold Series thing, but they do feel a little bit thicker than the other cards that we see. We got Aegis of Gaia, which I believe this was the first reprint for this card. It was a pretty valuable secret rare despite not seeing any play at all. We got Blackwing Sure the Blue Flame, very good reprint. Black Whirlwind, insane reprint. Kalut. So you can see like just by buying a couple of these, you could get a pretty competent like set of Blackwing archetype cards. It's kind of cool. Destiny Draw, very good reprint. We got Infernity Dwarf, first reprint for that. Worm Gulse, really bad card. Nova Summoner, I think this was the first reprint for this. It was previously a secret rare. Amazoness Chainmaster, then we're back to the actual gold rare. So that's a lot of commons for one pack, right? 22 commons, pretty crazy. I mean, that's a lot of cards. So we have Exploder Dragon, which actually is one of my favorite cards. I love this card a lot. I used it back in, it's going to sound really bad, but I used it in Dragon Rulers. You can search it off of Redox, but I remember getting this out of a video game. It was a video game promo, and I was very excited. We got, oh man, that's so cool. We got Thunder King Ra. Oh man, this would have been a good pull back in the day. This card is insane. I mean, you guys think Colossus is pretty good. This is like the level 4 Colossus. Really strong card for a lot of years. And Econ as well. So we got, it's sort of like an insight into, not so much with Exploder Dragon, but in sort of when we're looking at these cards were super popular for a very long period in Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Pretty much as soon as they came out up until like, I don't even know, like 20, they were still seen playing like 2012, and Thunder King and Econ have both seen play on and off, but I mean, they were like always around for years, and it's really cool to think about. Like the Gold Series, Konami really did pick good cards to print. So that's our first pack. Then we'll go into this one as well. And it's just, I don't know, I like looking at these older reprint sets especially. I mean, I like looking at older packs in general more so than I like looking at newer packs. But with the older reprint sets, especially the ones that I know actually had good reprints back in the day, we can kind of see what like people were wanting. We think of a lot of secret rares these days, but I think people back then, they weren't so focused on secret rares. It was just cards in general. It was so hard to like actually get things reprinted. You had a lot of cards that just didn't see. I mean, Thunder King backing was out of like a manga, I believe, as a secret rare, and that got reprinted, but it wasn't like a core set secret rare. Econ was like a core set ultra rare, but it's just, I don't know, it's crazy to think about. Oh yeah, we gotta open it backwards here so you guys don't get spoiled. Although I think a lot of times you get like the same set of commons, so we'll have to see. I won't go through all of them. Look, we got a different one. What the heck is this? Numbing Grub in the Ice Barrier. What a crazy card. Amazon's Archer, a card that is used a lot in those FTK combos. Blackwing Boar of the Spirits. Looks like we got like the other half of commons. There aren't actually enough. I don't know how many unique commons there are, but I don't think there's more than 40, so we'll probably get some duplicates here. We have Blackwing Boar of the Spear, Worm Hope, Amazon's Paladin, Sirocco. Yeah, so now we got all duplicates, so I won't spend too much time going through those. I think every single one, yeah, there's not that many different commons. Goblin Zombie's new. I think Mizuki's in this set as well. I think that might actually be a gold rare, though. Goblin Zombie, an amazing card. Saw a couple reprints, saw lots of play. Really good with Link Summon. I'm surprised no one's like broken this card. I think Team Samurai played this at a YCS recently, but it's a card that triggers off a Link Summons and can search itself. That seems like really good. I don't know. Not so good, not Firewall spam, but Blackwing Share the Blue Flame. Mostly just duplicate cards here, not super surprising. And we got, oh nice. So the first gold rare we got is Blackwing Armor Master. Once a very valuable card back in the day, not so much anymore. Then we have, oh man, yeah, Plague Spreader Zombie. My first ultimate rare I ever pulled, and a card that unfortunately got stolen from me, but eventually I have a couple Plague Spreader ultis in my collection that I just don't really play in decks. Not very good anymore. Very cool card back in the day. One of my favorite tuners. I just love this card. It looks so cool. It's very detailed, and it's just a really cool zombie monster. An Icarus Attack. So once again, really cool card. I think prior to this, the only holo print of this was a super rare from like one of the turbo packs, and that's very valuable. So a lot of people are looking to play this gold rare. Obviously works with all the Blackwings in this set, but this is like, man, such a nostalgia trip. Gold Series 3 is such a cool set. All those like original 5 Gold Series. I was a huge fan of Haunted Mind, so maybe I just counted like the original 4 Gold Series are just so awesome. Just such a really cool trip looking back at these older cards. But anyway, that wraps up today's video. I know it was a little bit longer because I had not only a little pack opening, but also sort of an analysis, because I really think the history behind Gold Series is really cool, and it's kind of just interesting to think about how Konami like has something that's such a staple in their product lineup, and then it just goes away indefinitely. That happens time and time again, and it's really cool to see what Konami tried out and what they changed eventually. But I'll see you guys later. Thank you so much for watching today's video. Goodbye.